Michael Miller, our guest today, is the recycling manager, Miami-Dade Solid Waste, Jeanmarie Massa. Thank you very much for being here.
Oh, thank you for having me.
So our whole table here is filled with a whole bunch of recycling stuff.
And non-recycling stuff.
You know, stuff that's good and stuff that's not so good.
Right.
So everybody in Miami-Dade County has an option of having a blue cart and as well as a green cart.
Yes.
Right? So we're going to talk about the stuff that goes into the blue cart.
Right, which should go into the blue cart, because there's some stuff that goes into the blue cart that shouldn't go into the blue cart.
And how often does the blue cart get picked up?
For the most, for almost everybody, but there are a few cities that are different. It's every other week. Just every other week is your recycling day.
And Jeanmarie, how many households in Miami-Dade have this service?
There's over 350,000 homes.
That's an incredible number.
It is.
And when you think about the processes involved in going to all these homes,
yes,
right?
Yes.
That's for recycling. Then on the green carts, that's twice a week.
Yes. Yeah.
So the green carts are 4 times in 2 weeks, and the carts are 1 time.
Yes.
So let's talk about the recycling program. How does that work? And can you show us some of the products?
Oh, thank you for letting me. Yes.
She lives for this, people.
I love these opportunities. Okay, well, at the very beginning starts out, you move into your house, you get a blue cart, you get a green cart if you are in our unincorporated service area. And there's 13 cities on our 15 cities, I don't even know, but are on our program as well. And so you get your blue cart, and we give you information on what should go in the blue cart and what should go in the green cart. And then we come and empty your blue cart every other week. And we give you a calendar. Do you know we mail out like 350,000 calendars every year so that people will know what their recycling day is?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, you should have gotten one.
I'm sure we did. I typically go out and go,
what are the neighbors doing?
What are the neighbors doing?
And you know, one wrong placement, the entire block will have their cart out.
I'm sure we all chuckle when that happens. we know on the green carts it's pretty easy.
Yeah.
For us, it's on Monday morning, so Sunday night,
out
Sunday
it
afternoon,
goes.
we put it out there, and it's pretty simple.
Perfect, yeah.
So the type of products that are recyclable, it changes during the last decade or so.
Yeah, only once.
But tell us the most recent addition to recyclable items.
Yes, I know. This is amazing. Okay, so it has always been bottles, cans, paper, cardboard, and cartons. And by cartons, we mean milk and juice cartons, that kind of stuff. But bottles, cans, cardboard. So the thing that has changed, bottles are easy. I mean, glass bottles, plastic bottles, because people are always asking me, you know, what about this? Well, this is not a bottle. So if it's a bottle, it's okay. Don't look at what it's made out of. So glass bottles, plastic bottles, all good. Aluminum bottles. There's aluminum bottles now that beer comes in. Okay, so bottles, cans, aluminum cans, metal cans like soup cans, all good. I don't know if cans made out of anything else, but that's good. Paper, if you can tear it, I don't really want to tear this, but anyway, if you can tear it, it's paper. So yeah, so if you get something like some kind of an envelope and it looks a little weird, if you can't tear it, it's not paper. Don't put it in your cart.
So sometimes the Amazon, those type of companies, they send these packages that are virtually impossible to.
Yes, they protect whatever it is that you are asking for, but they are not recyclable.
So what was the difference in the last 10 years to the number of cardboard boxes that consumers would put in there?
Well, I mean, cardboard has just gone up like crazy. I mean, because of the Amazon effect. And there's so much more of it, but it's good. The mills want it. They want it so much because they need more of it because there's more boxes being made, which takes us to the pizza box.
No big cheese and Domino's.
So pizza boxes, you know.
And Power Pizza.
Yes, I've talked to you. Thank you for always asking me. But I always say, and this is what I've said, even if there was a little dot of oil, it'll be absorbed. It's going to go in and it'll ruin the whole thing. Well, the mills need the boxes so badly to make more boxes that they've figured out a workaround.
So that's an interesting process. Before, we don't want it.
Right. I mean,
but
not
then they figured
at
out
all.
the demand was so high.
Yes.
That they said we need to figure out some way to change the ingredients over here so we can use the boxes.
Yes, so someone, I guess, figured out a way to extract the oil or whatever, and maybe their quality control has changed or whatever. They were very picky before, and now they need the stock so badly that they'll take it.
In different parts of the country, the recyclers accept different type of things. In some parts of the country, the plastic bags we get at drugstores are recycled, but not in Miami-Dade.
Well, yes and no. No, don't put it in my cart. Don't put it in the blue cart. But yes, they do. They can. All the grocery stores all have like little containers outside, and you can put your plastic bags in them, and they do get recycled. Because people say to me, "Oh, what do they do?" They do. It's like the feedstock. Plastic bags are the feedstock for. Oh, geez, what was this? Plastic lumber. You've seen plastic lumber?
Oh, yeah, they make patios.
Yeah, I mean, and plastic lumber is great if you live on a lake or you live by the ocean, because the wood, the actual wood, absorbs moisture and so on and so forth and can rot.
So if people put those into the wrong container, they can wind up with the machines and sort of gets them tied up and they have to stop.
Yes, at our, we call it a MRF, but it's a materials recycling or materials recovery facility. And they have all kinds of equipment that helps separate all the stuff that's in your blue cart.
Let's talk about when people order food to be brought to their houses. Significantly more than it was 5 years ago.
Yes.
Generally speaking, without specifically though, that stuff doesn't look like it's really recyclable, or is it?
I'm thinking of like food containers, and I'm not picking on any particular thing, but Chinese food comes in those little containers, and they've got to have some kind of not wax, but a plastic type coating. They must have that, because otherwise it would all be smushy by the time you got it. And that to me seems harder to recycle, but we have not been told don't do that. I would say clean it out though.
Okay, and what about the plastic?
These
two things.
Okay.
Strawberry.
Okay,
boxes.
yeah. Okay, this is not acceptable in our program. It's just the kind of plastic just makes it's not as easy to recycle, and by recycle, make it into another product. And we live at the end of a peninsula, so every single thing that we are going to transport somewhere has to go 350 miles north to get to factories, because we have no factories like that. So once you put the wrong thing in, if it's not taken out here, which is also a whole process, it ends up in the wrong place, and they don't have anything to do with it.
Recyclers pick up this material. It's bundled into these
it's big trucks, because it's just like a garbage truck. It is, and so it goes into what looks like a garbage truck, but it's recycling, because it says recycling on the side, and it gets compacted just like regular garbage, and it goes to the materials recovery facility, the MRF, where it's separated. And when it comes out of the truck, there's these big piles. I mean, they dump it on the ground, and then they kind of push it up to make room for the next truck. It looks just like garbage. I mean, it really does.
And people and machines go through this.
Yes.
This many hundreds of pounds.
Yes.
Maybe a lot more.
Tons, actually.
Yeah. And they go through and they separate it.
Yes, and it's not all hand separation, but the first part, which is why we talk about the plastic bags, what happens is, okay, so big front loader scoops it up, puts it on a conveyor belt. It goes up the conveyor belt, and now it goes into the plant, into the materials recovery facility. So the first thing is a shaker table that kind of shakes anything like smaller than like that, which is going to be broken glass and bottle caps. That's why we say don't even don't put your bottle caps in, because they don't get recycled. There's just not a way to get them. It becomes residue. And then it kind of goes up this conveyor and falls down the other side. And instead of a flat conveyor on the other side, it's something called a star screen. And it has these little points on it. So instead of smooth, they go over here. So that kind of jiggles everything along. So now you're going to get more of the broken glass and things like that. But what happens when it jiggles along? The bags get it, and they wrap around the stars. And they have to shut down the plant, because you can't shut down one part of the plant and not the other to dig them out.
So at the end of this line, this stuff is by the machines, it's already separated.
No, this is at the beginning.
That's
This
at
is
the
at the beginning. Yeah, yeah. So you first have um, you first have people like just taking out like the baby strollers. I know it sounds crazy, but yes, there are big crazy things. And so they just get the mattresses, whatever kind of crazy thing, and they pull that out. And as it's going up a little bit, then it comes down the star screen. So now this is jiggling along and just wraps
Sure.
around. So now we have all these some kind of circly things, you know, and they can't, nothing can happen anymore. So they have to shut down the plant because you can't have one part moving and not the other part. And people get on this machine and they have knives and
So
they
this whole plant stops. How
to
many
take-
times a day does it?
they shut down the plant for 2 hours every so often. I mean, it just to dig that out, and it's
So when as it's moving along, the things get separated,
right after we get past here. Yes.
and then when they ship it to where it's going to be recycled, you have a pile of cardboard over here, and you have a pile of metal over here.
Right. It's really cool because okay, so for the cardboard, so that at the kind of beginning of the plant, after we've gone through the star screen and got all that out, kind of the paper is diverted by from the other materials, and because paper is pretty simple the way it goes, and it goes into a whole other room where it's all hand sorting pretty much. So they're going to separate newspaper from office paper from whatever. So that's over here, but then everything else kind of goes along, and the aluminum cans. Well, let's do the metal. Metal is pulled out, but that's easy because it's ferrous and it's attracted by a magnet. So it gets just pulled out that way. That's easy. This is so cool. There's something called an eddy current separator, and it's kind of like the opposite of a magnet. Instead of being attracted, it's repelled. And it just, you hear it go ding, whoops, just like that.
And it dings it up, puts it into
Another
barrel. It puts it in-
another bin, like, and then or another thing that ends up going to a baler. So everything except glass ends up getting baled.
So if we were going to put in a truckload of stuff to be recycled, how long, from the time it gets offloaded
Okay.
until it's recycled into the different piles, how long is that process?
Oh, they clean out the building every day. They don't leave stuff in the building overnight. So whatever is delivered today is going to end up being baled today.
So there's those big trucks filled with everybody's garbage going to a separate pile.
Yes, amazing.
And does something similar happen to the green dumpsters?
No.
Oh, okay. Sorry, Michael.
Yeah, no, sorry, Michael.
So,
And that's why it's so important. It to put your recycling, your aluminum, your steel, put it in the recycling, not the garbage.
so people are putting personal papers into their blue card. They probably shouldn't.
Yeah, it's, you know, the paper. It's not. It doesn't come out like this.
Right.
Let me tell you. So I wouldn't do it, but it's very difficult. It would be really difficult because everything moves along really quickly.
But nobody cares. But if people want to make sure, they can
Shred it.
put it through one of those shredders.
Mm-hmm.
And
But you know what? Don't put shredded paper in your recycling.
tell us,
It ends up being little pieces of paper.
thousands.
Yes, which is good, which is what you wanted in the first place. But in the conveyor system, there's like no way to end up putting it in a
So
bale.
if somebody's shredding their stuff at their homes, they should put it into the green dumpster.
Put it into, the green cart, yes.
I think we have one that makes into these little tiny things like this.
Yes, that's amazing. That should definitely go in the green cart.
Have all these little things. Right? So what are some of the things that happen in recycling during the pandemic?
Oh, aside from the cardboard effect.
Yes.
You know, I have to look at I get the information every month on exactly how many tons have been collected and recycled and everything. And I think it went up a little bit, but I will tell you the next time I come by. I will check on that.
So if people were getting stuff to go, now they're going back to the restaurants. So the recycled stuff is now metal,
It
a
should
glass
be,
plate.
you would think it's less because people aren't cooking at home. They're not, doing all the things at home that they were doing.
So some really great lessons for all of us. And it's hard to imagine this would have been 3 years last month. And we said, what about that thing? The pandemic, I think it was
Oh,
declared emergency
yeah,
in March
right.
of 2020.
Yes,
Right.
yes, we went home. They sent us home to work from home in March 20. Was it
Yeah,
20?
an amazing process.
Yeah.
That we made it through, and lots of neat stuff's going to happen. I don't know what it's all going to be, but
It's going to be
there.
exciting and new.
So let's talk about the on the refuge and or the rubbish in the green dumpsters.
The
Tell
good
us
old
what,
garbage.
yeah, what happens to that?
It gets picked up and it goes to a disposal site. I mean, that is why it's so important to put your recycling in your blue recycling cart, because the garbage goes to a garbage facility.
So people may be taking stuff that could have been recycled,
Right,
and
putting
we're
it in their
taking
garbage.
we're putting it in some dump,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, 'cause-
Unnecessarily.
right, right.
Is there a national average about how much of stuff we put into the green dumpster is
That could
on
be
average
recycling?
that's recyclable?
There probably is. I don't know what it is, but I don't even want to guess. But I know it's in there. I
It's-
know it's in there.
I'll bet it's a lot.
Yeah, definitely.
So when the trucks go out to pick up the blue carts, typically are those on average half full, full? Only a
No,
little?
I think they're full. They are full because a lot of times, well, since it's every other week, it's usually full. I mean,
I promise I'm going to do a better job.
do you miss sometimes, or do you sometimes put the wrong thing in the cart?
Right now there are only two of us, but as I watch this whole thing, and the reason a lot of fruits and vegetables, we get a lot of these.
Oh yeah, not
get-
recyclable.
And
I
the-
know.
And they're tough to squish in the can. And
Yes, they take up space and everything. Yeah.
those aren't really. How long does it take for that to disintegrate?
Oh my
Or does it?
gosh. No, it will. Everything eventually does, but a lot.
Years.
Definitely years. Yes.
And what about these type of things?
Yes. Oh, and I brought this specifically because, we just had a holiday, so there was probably a lot of cooking. I made lasagna at my house.
Congratulations.
Yes. But I have a real pan because anyway, a lot of that used. Don't put it in the recycling cart. It's not the same as a can. It's just it's a different consistency, has different. I know we call them aluminum, but this is really aluminum. So that really, and it's probably really dirty if you cooked in it. So that needs to go in the garbage.
And what about frozen dinners? Generally speaking, the
Yeah.
containers that they come in. It's similar to this most of the
Right,
time.
right, and this isn't good either. This is not recyclable, and one of the reasons is that the way things get recycled is they're melted. Pretty much everything except the paper is melted. So this was engineered to not melt in your
Yeah.
microwave.
There's a new product. I mean, new for me. It seems to be a cardboard that you can put in for 4 minutes or 5 minutes in the microwave.
Oh,
And
okay.
then I'm going to look at it, but it certainly is. Now that I'm looking at it, so if I have a choice,
Uh-huh.
you can make a choice. Is that product is the container recyclable?
Or not. Yeah, check. Yeah. And I'm trying to think what kind of paper. And the reason I'm thinking is because if it's going to be something you're going to be microwaving is juicy, there's got to be some kind of a plastic or something so that it doesn't make the rest of the container mushy.
I'm going to look at it.
Okay, yeah.
And say, and see, because when I clean it out, it seems to be pretty decently clean. But I'm going to see if it's recyclable.
Okay.
Let's talk about tuna fish cans.
They're good. They're good.
All the cans.
All cans
right?
are good.
All the glass.
Yep. Glass bottles, glass jars.
So do you know why the same product in some hands is a plastic container and the same product is also in a glass container? For instance, pickles or Coke or whatever.
Yeah.
And do you know some reason for that?
I'm not sure, and especially for a soda product, I don't know. I don't think they're different. There's nothing different, but some things may have a reaction to something that isn't glass. I'll tell you, glass is also heavy. I mean, to transport. So if you're putting glass pickle jars on a truck, it's going to be heavy.
So I bought some pickles the other day.
Speaking
and I
of
had them at the
pickles,
house, right? I go, why did you buy this? It's glass. It could just slip on and fall on the ground. And I'm thinking, oh my God.
What a mess.
And to dozens and dozens of little pieces.
Mhm.
So, but for most of the plastic containers are
Mhm.
recyclable.
Right.
Is that right?
plastic containers.
Like,
Well, yeah, if it has a narrow neck,
Yes.
it's good. Yes. Yes.
I'm gonna do better.
Okay.
All right. All right.
It's all right. We love you anyway,
Right.
but do better.
So people can look at their products if they're getting processing. Is the container recyclable? And I know that lots of people are making choices like that. And I think that the desire for electric vehicles this year, they're going to produce, I don't know, a zillion more.
Yeah, I just saw, something else, SUVs and trucks, and yeah.
And as soon as there are more fueling stations, charging stations,
That's right.
I'm in.
That's all right.
Somebody calls me, I can't come over. I was like that. I only have 10 minutes left in my car, or 10 miles.
Right,
it was,
whatever, yeah.
And I'm going to have to take an Uber. I went, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And it's like, otherwise, if it was fuel,
Yeah.
they would have a neighborhood. But that's going to be solved relatively soon.
And I'll tell you from experience, if you turn the air conditioning off on the car, it uses less on the electric car.
When the
And
Corvette,
go slow.
and by the way, the Corvette, the mighty
Yes.
Corvette,
Yes.
is going to be all electric.
Wow.
Yes. And speaking of that, the county unveiled their first all-electric garbage truck
Yes.
a couple months ago.
Yes.
And very, very nifty,
It is.
very quiet.
It is. I know. And, eventually that's the way of the future, I'm pretty sure. And as more and more trucks are on the road like that, people not usually, there are some people who wait to hear the truck and then they run and pull their stuff out. Oh, not you. Of course not. But so you're not going to be able to hear the truck. So let me just say now, take your carts out the night before.
So, and if the blue cart is damaged, they can do what? To get them fixed.
The easiest thing, you can call 311 and they will ask your address and what happened and all that kind of stuff. And they'll open up a service request and we can repair or replace it.
And 311 is very responsive.
They are,
And
yes.
almost immediate.
I mean, when you talk to them, it goes into the computer and it goes, like the stuff regarding carts and stuff goes directly to us
Somebody could go online to miamidade.gov.
Yes, and you can basically fill out your own report. You don't have to talk to anybody or wait or anything.
So for all the antisocial people, it's perfect.
Right.
On the county website, people can find out more about your recycling program.
Yes.
And see some videos of some of the
Oh,
things.
our videos are so cool. If you go to miamidade.gov, www.miamidade.gov/recycling, we have all these videos. And we have a video that shows how the MRF works, what happens to your recyclables. We have all kinds of stuff that's really neat that you can watch and learn.
And I did want to give a shout out to the county for enforcing as best they can the dumping of
Illegal dumping?
I think
Yes.
that's a really good thing. And there are hidden cameras in the hotspot areas. I think I pegged one the other day.
Woohoo!
Yeah, I'm glad. Don't dump on 118th between Bird and Miller.
Just
right?
don't. Just don't.
Just
So many
don't.
reasons, aside from the fact it's wrong,
Yes.
it's watched.
And I think that when we recognize that the cost to us as taxpayers
Yeah.
is huge. A boat was dumped about a month ago and 2 months before. So guy has to go out and look for it.
Right.
Then they're going to have to, and then they have to call at least 2 other people to come down, and they still have to dump it.
Yeah.
And if they get caught, it's going to be a consequence.
There is. There are consequences. Yes.
And so if there's some little kid whose parents are making him watch this, what recycling tidbits do you want to give to them?
Oh, please recycle right. I'm talking right to you. Recycle right. Bottles, cans, paper, cardboard, and cartons, which we're talking about, juice cartons, milk cartons. That's the only thing that goes in your recycling cart. And remember, totally aside from that, do not litter. Do not drop anything on the ground. Unless what you're holding is on fire, do not put it on the ground. Littering is just bad.
And let's talk about when there's a lot of rain.
Uh-huh.
That stuff makes it.
Where it goes right into our storm drains.
Yes. And then
Right to Biscayne Bay.
Yes.
It's a direct route.
Yes.
Yes, which is bad because our bay is very important.
And along the way, if there's too much of that stuff, it clogs up the street.
Oh, yes.
And then your mom's car is going to get stuck.
Right. And then you can't go to baseball practice. It's a long line of bad things from one bad thing.
At the end of the day, we've got the Biscayne Bay. Speaking of that, in a couple days, a Guinness World Record is going to be attempted again in Biscayne Bay. as woman that's going to swim like a mermaid and not use her hands.
Oh, wow.
She's already set 3 other world records. So she's
Excellent.
going to do that. I'm sure you're going to hear and see it
Yes.
about it. My good luck to her. She didn't need the luck. She's like, great.
Excellent.
And she's trying to bring attention to Biscayne Bay.
Yes.
And all the stuff that's happening.
What a nifty way to do it, too.
Yes.
Yeah.
And she'll have a lot of coverage.
Good.
And she actually has mermaid feet.
Oh, wow. With the tail and everything?
Yes. And she
That's
does
hard work.
And she doesn't use her hands. to
Oh,
swim.
my goodness. She just like a mermaid.
Yes.
I want to see that. That'll be
you're
good.
going to see, I'm sure you're going to see some boats go along with it. So, Jeanmarie Massey, thank you very much for being here.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks
Right.
for asking me.
And folks, if you want to learn more about recycling, go to miamidade.gov/recycling.
Recycling.
And I'll bet you'll find her email address there too.
Absolutely.
Jeanmarie, thank you so
You're
much.
welcome.
Folks, thank you for joining